The dawn of Guardians, humanity's unyielding spirit in the crucible of alien stars. The stars burned cold in the void of the Aelion galaxy, but nothing was colder than the gaze of the Clithorian Concord's war machine. Their ships, sleek and glowing with sapphire flames, carved through the darkness like knives. They called it war, but to them, it was math. Clean, precise, inevitable. Shields at 70%? You fight. 50%? You surrender. That's how it's been for 1,000 years. But today, they're not facing another obedient species. They're facing humans. And humans don't play by the galaxy's rules. Welcome to the dawn of Guardians, where humanity's fire meets the stars and burns brighter than ever. Buckle up, because this is no ordinary war. This is humanity unleashed. High above the human colony of Arendor IV, the Clithorian flagship Dreadspire looms like a predator. Its bridge hums with the sterile precision of a supercomputer. Archon Virak, scales glinting gold under the artificial light, stands at the center, his clawed hands dancing across a holographic control panel. His voice is a low rumble, confident, almost bored. Shield strength of the colony? A weapons officer, scales a duller bronze, responds instantly. 70%, Archon. They'll break soon. Virak's lips curl into what might be a smile, if Clithorians could feel joy. Good. Prepare to receive their surrender signal when it drops to 50. Standard protocol. The galaxy's wars are a dance, and Virak knows every step, or so he thinks. Beneath the surface of Arendor IV, the human command bunker pulses with controlled chaos. Red warning lights flash, screens flicker with tactical data. At the heart of it all stands Commander Aria Voss, her dark eyes locked on a holographic map of the Clithorian fleet. Her face is a mask of determination, but there's a flicker of something deeper. Grief, maybe, from a past she doesn't talk about. "They think we'll roll over," she mutters, her voice sharp as a blade. "They don't know us." Around her, soldiers move with purpose, their armor clanking, their voices a mix of grit and defiance. This isn't just a colony, it's home. And humans don't give up their homes without a fight. In a corner of the bunker, Dr. Elias Kor hunches over a strange device, its surface etched with runes that glow faintly blue. He's no soldier, just a scientist with too many questions and not enough answers. His hands tremble as he adjusts a scanner. "This isn't human tech," he whispers to himself. "Not Clithorian either." The device hums, and a pulse of energy ripples through the room, making the lights flicker. Elias's eyes widen. "Aria, you need to see this." He stumbles toward her, clutching the scanner. "I found it in the ruins under the colony. It's old. Older than anything in the galaxy. And it's waking up." Aria glances at him, her mind still on the battle. "Waking up? Elias, we're about to be vaporized. Can it wait?" But the look in his eyes tells her it can't. Back on the Dreadspire, Archon Silvara stands apart from the others. Her scales are silver, shimmering like moonlight, and her eyes hold a quiet unease. She's Virak's advisor, but her heart isn't in this war. She scrolls through a data tablet, her claws pausing on a file labeled Human History. 10,000 years of war. Tribe against tribe. Nation against nation. Planet against planet. Humans don't just fight, they thrive in chaos. "Archon Virak," she says, her voice steady but urgent. "We've underestimated them. Their history is different. They don't surrender. They don't stop." Virak laughs, a sound like grinding gears. "Primitive apes with chemical rockets, Silvara. Their toys can't touch us." But Silvara's gaze lingers on the tablet, her scales paling. She's read about something humans call total war, and it terrifies her. In the bunker, Aria's tactical screen lights up with a new signal. The Clithorian fleet is tightening its noose, their energy cannons charging for another salvo. But Aria isn't waiting for them to strike. "Launch the Apex Dawn," she orders. A young officer hesitates. Commander, that ship's experimental. It's half human tech, half scavenged Clithorian junk. We don't even know if it'll hold together. Arya's eyes burn with resolve. It'll hold. Because we built it. And we don't build things to fail. Outside, the Apex Dawn rises from a hidden silo, its hull a patchwork of human steel and alien alloys. It's not sleek like a Clithorian ship. It's brutal, angular, built for one thing: survival. As it breaks atmosphere, its engines roar like a beast unchained. On the Dreadspire, a sensor officer's voice cuts through the hum of the bridge. Archon, we're detecting a ship. Single vessel, human design, but it's not in our database. Virak leans forward, his confidence wavering for the first time. The main screen zooms in on the Apex Dawn, its jagged silhouette cutting through the stars. "What is that?" he growls. Silvara's data tablet pings with new information. "It's transmitting a signal, Archon." Virak snaps, "Put it through." The bridge speakers crackle, and a human voice fills the room, calm, cold, unyielding. "This is Commander Arya Voss of the Apex Dawn. You've attacked our home. You have one chance to leave. Choose wisely." Virak stares at the screen, his claws digging into the console. "They dare threaten us? Fire all weapons." Back in the bunker, Elias's device pulses again, stronger this time. The runes glow brighter, and a low hum fills the air. "Arya, it's doing something!" he shouts. The tactical screens flicker as a strange signal bursts from the device, spreading across the planet and into space. Above, the Clithorian fleet registers the signal, their sensors going haywire. "What is this interference?" Virak demands. Silvara's tablet lights up with fragmented data, references to a long-dead civilization called the Arendorians. "Archon," she says, her voice barely a whisper, "I think we've woken something up." On Arendor 4, Arya watches the Apex Dawn charge toward the enemy fleet, her heart pounding. The Clithorians want a war? They're about to learn what happens when you fight humans. And whatever Elias has uncovered, it's about to change everything. The Apex Dawn rockets toward the Clithorian armada, its weapons hot, and its crew ready to rewrite the rules of war. On the surface, a scientist holds the key to a power older than the stars themselves. And in the heart of the enemy, a single voice whispers warnings that go unheard. This is just the beginning. Humanity's fire is rising, and the galaxy will never be the same. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next part of the Dawn of Guardians is going to blow your mind. Who will survive when the stars burn red? Let's find out together. The stars of the alien galaxy trembled as the Apex Dawn surged forward, a jagged spear of human defiance piercing the void. If the Clithorians thought their sapphire-lit armada could intimidate humanity, they were about to learn a lesson written in fire and steel. Welcome back to the Dawn of Guardians, where humans don't just fight, they rewrite the rules of war. Last time, Commander Arya Voss launched the experimental Apex Dawn to face the Clithorian Concord's invasion of Arendor 4. A mysterious signal from an ancient device shook the enemy's sensors, and Archon Silvara's warnings about humanity's history went ignored. Now, the battle begins, and the galaxy is about to see what happens when you push humans too far. Let's dive in. This is where things get wild. The Apex Dawn roared into the heart of the Clithorian fleet, its patchwork hull glinting under the glow of enemy energy cannons. On the bridge, Arya Voss stood like a storm anchored in flesh, her eyes locked on the tactical display. Red dots swarmed the screen, dozens of Clithorian cruisers in perfect formation, their shields pulsing with calculated precision. "They're firing in sequence," her tactical officer, Lieutenant Reza Khan, reported, his voice tight. "Standard Galactic protocol. They'll wear us down without breaking a sweat." Arya's lips twitched into a half-smile, the kind that promised trouble. "Let them try. Full power to forward armor. We're not here to dance their dance." The Apex Dawn wasn't built for elegance. It was a brawler, its hull layered with scavenged Clithorian alloys and human-forged titanium. As the first wave of energy beams lanced across space, they splashed against the ship's physical armor, fizzling into harmless sparks. Rey's eyes widened. Shields holding at 98%. That shouldn't be possible. Arya's smile grew. Welcome to human engineering. Aboard the Dreadspire, Archon Virak's golden scales gleamed under the bridge's sterile lights, but his composure was cracking. The main screen showed the Apex Dawn shrugging off their barrage like it was nothing. How are they absorbing that much energy? He snarled. His weapons officer, scales dull with stress, stammered, Their ship. It's not using energy shields, Archon. It's covered in physical armor, thick metal plates. Virak's claws dug into his console, leaving gouges. Physical armor? No civilized species had used such crude defenses in a millennium. Energy shields were efficient, elegant. This was barbaric. Increase power to cannons, he ordered. Burn through their primitive shell. But Archon Silvara, standing silently at her data station, felt her silver scales pale. She'd read the human archives, stories of tanks rolling through fire, ships ramming enemy lines, warriors fighting with broken blades. The Clithorians were playing a game of numbers. Humans were playing for blood. Back on Erendor 4, the command bunker buzzed with tension. Dr. Elias Kor knelt beside the Erendorian device, its glowing runes pulsing like a heartbeat. The signal it emitted had disrupted Clithorian sensors, but Elias knew it was more than interference. This isn't just a beacon, he muttered, his scanner humming. It's communicating with something. He glanced at the tactical feed, where the Apex Dawn weaved through a storm of energy beams. Arya's voice crackled over the comms. Elias, whatever you're doing, make it quick. We're holding them off, but we need an edge. Elias's fingers danced over the device, coaxing more data. A holographic map flickered to life, showing a network of ancient structures buried across the planet. Arya, this is bigger than we thought. The Erendorians left something here. A weapon, maybe. But it's waking up, and I don't know if we can control it. Above, the battle raged, and Elias felt the weight of a galaxy's history pressing down on him. In space, the Apex Dawn struck back. Arya gave the order, and the ship's kinetic weapons, tungsten missiles accelerated to near-light speed, erupted from its ports. These weren't the elegant energy beams of the Clithorians. They were raw, brutal, designed to punch through anything. The first missile hit a Clithorian cruiser dead center. One moment, the ship was there, its shields glowing bright. The next, it was a cloud of debris, shredded by the sheer force of human ingenuity. On the Dreadspire, alarms screamed. Direct hit, the sensor officer shouted. Cruiser Starvale is gone, completely destroyed. Virak's eyes narrowed. Impossible. Our shields are calibrated for energy weapons. Silvara stepped forward, her voice low but urgent. Archon, the humans don't use energy weapons. Their projectiles bypass our shields entirely. Virak whirled on her, his scales flaring. Then we adapt. Reposition the fleet. Standard defensive globe. But Silvara knew it was too late. The humans weren't fighting a war. They were rewriting it. Arya saw the Clithorian fleet shift, their ships forming a perfect sphere to maximize shield overlap. Predictable, she muttered. She turned to Dr. Lena Maris, the ship's psychological warfare specialist, whose sharp eyes gleamed with mischief. Lena, hit them where it hurts. Lena nodded, her fingers flying over her console. Let's give them a taste of human history. Across every Clithorian comm channel, a cacophony erupted, recordings from Earth's battlefields. The roar of charging soldiers, the thunder of artillery, the defiant anthems of warriors who never backed down. One transmission looped a Marine's voice from a long-forgotten war. We don't retreat. We reload. On the Dreadspire, crew members froze, their scales paling. What is this? A young officer whispered. Silvara's tablet pinged with intercepted chatter. Clithorian crews were panicking, some refusing to man their stations.
"It's psychological warfare," she said, her voice trembling. "They're breaking our will to fight."
Vyrax slammed a claw on his console. "Silence it!" But the humans' voices kept coming, relentless, unshakable. Below, Elias's device pulsed again, its signal growing stronger. The holographic map expanded, revealing a structure deep beneath Arendor 4, a vault, sealed for eons.
"Arya, I think I've found it," Elias said over the comms, his voice shaking with excitement and fear. "There's a vault down here tied to this device. It might be a weapon, but it's alive somehow." Arya's voice crackled back, sharp and focused despite the chaos above. "Alive? Elias, we're in the middle of a firefight. Can it help us or not?" Elias hesitated, his scanner showing energy readings off the charts. "It could turn the tide, but if we open that vault, we might unleash something we can't control." He looked at the device, its runes now blazing. Whatever the Arendorians had hidden, it was awake, and it was watching. In orbit, the Apex Dawn pressed its advantage. Arya ordered a daring maneuver, diving into the heart of the Clithorian formation. "They're bunched up," she said. "Let's crack their shell." The ship's secondary batteries fired a barrage of fragmentation rounds, designed to overwhelm shields with sheer volume. 2 more Clithorian cruisers exploded, their debris scattering like confetti. On the Dreadspire, Vyrax's rage boiled over. "How are they doing this?" he roared. Silvara's tablet flashed with new data, human battle records showing ships ramming enemies, soldiers fighting hand-to-hand, entire fleets sacrificing themselves for victory. "Archon," she said quietly, "the humans have been at war for 10,000 years. Every tactic, every weapon has been tested in blood. We can't match that." Vyrax's eyes burned with defiance. "Then we crush them with numbers, summon the reserve fleet." But Silvara's mind was elsewhere. She'd seen enough. The humans weren't just a threat. They were a force of nature. Secretly, she opened a secure channel, bypassing Vyrax's sensors. "Commander Voss," she transmitted, her voice steady despite the risk. "This is Archon Silvara of the Clithorian Concord. We don't have to be enemies. I propose a truce." On the Apex Dawn, Arya's brow furrowed as Silvara's message came through. "A truce?" she said, glancing at Reza. "They're losing, and now they want to talk?" Reza shook his head. "Could be a trap, Commander." Arya's instincts screamed caution, but something in Silvara's tone felt genuine. "Patch her through," she said. "Let's hear what she has to say." The Dreadspire's bridge was a storm of activity, but Silvara's actions hadn't gone unnoticed. General Krax, a hulking Clithorian with obsidian scales, watched her from the shadows. His loyalty was to the Concord's war machine, not to dreamers like Silvara. "What are you doing, Archon?" he growled, stepping closer. Silvara's scales stiffened, but she held her ground. "Saving us, General. The humans will destroy us unless we act." Krax's eyes narrowed. "You speak of treason." Silvara met his gaze, unflinching. "I speak of survival." Above, the Apex Dawn weaved through a hail of energy beams, its armor scarred but unyielding. Arya's voice cut through the comms, addressing Silvara. "You've got 30 seconds to convince me, Archon. Why should I trust you?" Silvara took a breath, knowing her next words could change the galaxy, or end her life. On Arendor 4, Elias knelt before the Arendorian device, its hum now a roar. The holographic map showed the vault's entrance, buried miles beneath the surface. His scanner beeped, revealing a warning in an Aelion script. "Beware the Sentinel." Elias's heart pounded. "Sentinel? What the hell does that mean?" He patched into Arya's comms. "Commander, the vault's real, but there's something guarding it. I think it's an AI, or worse." Arya's response was clipped, her focus split between the battle and Silvara's offer. "Elias, if it's a weapon, we need it. Figure it out." Elias stared at the device, its light casting shadows across his face. He'd wanted answers, but now he feared what they might cost. The Apex Dawn barreled through the Clithorian fleet, its kinetic weapons tearing holes in their formation. Another cruiser vanished in a flash of fire, and the Clithorian's perfect globe began to fracture. Lena's psychological broadcasts grew louder, now mixing human war cries with Clithorian distress signals, sowing chaos. On the Dreadspire, Virak's crew faltered, their disciplined ranks crumbling under the weight of fear. "Hold the line!" Virak bellowed, but his voice lacked its earlier fire. Silvara's transmission to Arya continued, her words careful but urgent. "Commander, my people are divided. I lead a faction that seeks peace. Help me stop this war, and we can save both our worlds." Arya listened, her mind racing. Trust an alien who'd attacked her home? It went against every instinct. But the signal from Elias's vault pulsed stronger, and the Clithorian reserve fleet loomed on the horizon. Time was running out. The Apex Dawn stood defiant, a lone human spark against a galaxy's worth of arrogance. But the Clithorians weren't done yet. Reinforcements were closing in, and their numbers could drown even humanity's fire. On the surface, Elias faced a choice: open the Arendorian vault and risk unleashing a monster, or let his people fight alone. And in the shadows of the Dreadspire, Silvara's gamble hung by a thread, with Krax's claws itching for betrayal. This is the dawn of Guardians, and the battle is just heating up. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because Part 3 is going to take this war to the stars. Will humanity trust an enemy to save the day? Or will the ancient sentinel awaken to judge them all? Stick around. You won't want to miss this. The Aelion galaxy burned with the fury of war, and at its heart, the Apex Dawn stood as humanity's unbreakable fist. The Clithorian Concord thought they could crush Arendor 4 with numbers and precision, but they didn't count on one thing. Humans don't break. They build, they fight, they win. Welcome back to the Dawn of Guardians, where humanity's spark ignites the stars. Last time, Commander Arya Voss and the Apex Dawn tore through the Clithorian fleet with kinetic weapons and psychological warfare, while Archon Silvara risked everything for a truce. Dr. Elias Kor uncovered a mysterious Arendorian vault that could turn the tide, or unleash a nightmare. Now, 3 Clithorian fleets converge, and the galaxy's about to learn why you never bet against humans. Strap in. This is the battle that changes everything. The Apex Dawn hung in the void, its scarred hull a testament to human defiance. On the bridge, Arya Voss's eyes blazed as she studied the tactical display. 3 Clithorian fleets, Hegemony, Confederation, and Alliance, closed in from every angle, their sapphire-lit cruisers forming a cage of fire. Over 70 ships, each a masterpiece of galactic engineering, their energy cannons charging with enough power to vaporize a moon. Lieutenant Reza Khan's voice was steady but tense. "Commander, we're outnumbered 73 to 1. Even for us, that's ambitious." Arya's jaw tightened, but her voice was ice cold. "Good. More targets." She turned to Dr. Lena Maris, whose fingers hovered over her psychological warfare console. "Lena, keep their heads spinning. Reza, prep the kinetic batteries. We're not just fighting their ships, we're fighting their rules." The Apex Dawn hummed with power, its hybrid systems, human steel fused with Clithorian tech, ready to rewrite the battlefield. Aboard the Dreadspire, Archon Virak's golden scales glinted with rage. The main screen showed the Apex Dawn, a lone speck defying his armada. "They're insane," he growled. "1 ship against 3 fleets?" His sensor officer, scales dull with exhaustion, reported, "They're not retreating, Archon. They're advancing." Virak's claws slashed the air. "Then they're fools. All fleets, fire at will." A storm of energy beams erupted, painting the void in blinding blue. The Apex Dawn took the brunt, its physical armor glowing red-hot, but holding firm. On the human bridge, Reza shouted, "Armor integrity at 85%. Power levels stable." Arya nodded, her mind racing. The Clithorians fought like machines, predictable, rigid. Humans fought like wolves, adaptable, ferocious. "Launch the decoys," she snapped. From the Apex Dawn's bays, dozens of drones shot out, broadcasting fake human signatures to confuse enemy sensors. The Clithorian beams scattered, wasting power on ghosts. Below on Arendor 4, Dr. Elias Kor knelt in the command bunker, the Arendorian device pulsing like a living thing. Its runes blazed, and the holographic map now showed a clear path to the vault, miles beneath the surface. But the warning, "Beware the Sentinel," burned in Elias's mind. "Arya, I've got a lock on the vault," he said over the comms, his voice shaking. "It's definitely a weapon, maybe a shield generator, but there's something alive down there. An AI, I think. If we open it, we might not control what comes out." Arya's response crackled through, sharp amid the battle's chaos. "Elias, we're staring down 3 fleets. If it's a weapon, we need it. Make the call." Elias's hands trembled over the device. He was a scientist, not a soldier, but the weight of humanity's survival pressed down on him. He activated the device's next sequence, and a low rumble shook the bunker. The ground itself seemed to groan, as if something ancient was stirring. In orbit, the Apex Dawn struck with surgical precision. Arya ordered the kinetic batteries to fire, unleashing tungsten missiles that screamed across space. The first hit a hegemony cruiser, punching through its shield like paper and turning the ship into a fireball. 2 more Confederation ships followed, their thin hulls no match for human brutality. On the Dreadspire, alarms wailed. "3 ships destroyed in seconds," the weapons officer shouted. Virak's scales flared. "How? Our shields are perfect!" Archon Silvara, her silver scales dim with strain, stepped forward. "Archon, their weapons aren't energy-based. They're physical, designed to penetrate, not deflect." Virak whirled on her, his voice venomous. "You defend them?" Silvara held his gaze. "I'm trying to save us. Call off the attack. Negotiate." But Virak's pride was a wall no logic could breach. "Never. Signal the fleets. Tighten the net." Arya saw the Clithorian fleets shift, their formations closing like a fist. "They're trying to box us in," she said. "Time to get creative. Captain Joran Holt, you ready?" Over the comms, Joran's voice crackled with reckless confidence. "Born ready, Commander." Joran, a young pilot with a knack for defying physics, led a squadron of modified fighters, human shuttles retrofitted with Clithorian thrusters. They shot from the Apex Dawn's bays, weaving through the enemy's energy barrage like hornets. Joran's fighter dove into a Confederation formation, using an asteroid fragment as cover. "Target their weapon ports," he ordered. His squadron fired microkinetics, small but deadly rounds that shredded the Clithorian cannons. One Alliance battleship lost half its turrets, its crew scrambling in panic. Joran laughed over the comms. "They build pretty ships, but they forgot how to fight dirty." On the Dreadspire, Silvara's secret truce hung by a thread. Her transmission to Arya had been brief but clear. Help her faction stop the war, and the Clithorians could be allies. But General Krax, his obsidian scales glinting with malice, had intercepted the signal. "Treason," he hissed, looming over her. Silvara's heart raced, but her voice was steel. "War will destroy us, Krax. The humans are offering a way out." Krax's claws twitched, inches from her throat. "You'll answer to the Concord, Archon, after we crush these apes." He stormed off to rally the fleets, leaving Silvara alone with her tablet. She sent one last message to Arya. "Virak won't stop. My faction is ready to act. Give us a signal." On the Apex Dawn, Arya read the message, her mind torn. Trusting Silvara was a gamble, but the Clithorian reserves were minutes away. "Reza, prep the boarding teams," she said. "If we're doing this, we're doing it our way." The boarding order sent a jolt through the Apex Dawn's crew.
Sergeant Mira Tan, a grizzled Marine with scars older than most of her squad, led the charge. "Lock and load," she barked, her team suiting up in heavy armor. Their shuttles, armored like tanks, were designed for one thing: punching into enemy ships. "We're not asking permission," Mira told her squad. "We take their bridge, their core, their will to fight." The shuttles launched, weaving through Clithorian fire with erratic maneuvers no Galactic pilot could predict. One shuttle slammed into a Confederation cruiser, its magnetic clamps locking tight. Cutting torches burned through the hull, and Mira's team poured in, smoke grenades and flashbangs clearing the way. The Clithorian crew, trained for ship-to-ship combat, froze at the sight of humans in their corridors. Mira's rifle barked, dropping 2 guards with precise shots. "Bridge is that way," she said, grinning. "Let's introduce ourselves." On Arendor 4, the bunker shook as the Arendorian vault responded to Elias's commands. The holographic map flickered, showing a massive structure opening deep underground. Energy readings spiked, and Elias's scanner screamed with warnings. "Arya, it's active!" he shouted. "The vault's opening, but the Sentinel, it's not just an AI, it's aware." A voice, cold and metallic, echoed through the bunker, speaking in a language no human knew. Elias's translator caught fragments. Judgment, balance, unworthy. His blood ran cold. "Arya, I think we've made a mistake." Above, Arya barely registered his words. The Apex Dawn was surrounded, its armor pocked with burns. Mira's team reported in. "Bridge secure, Commander. We've got their nav systems." Arya seized the chance. "Turn their ship on the Alliance fleet. Let's make them fight each other." The Confederation cruiser, now under human control, pivoted and fired on its own allies. Alliance battleships returned fire, their massive energy beams tearing into their own ranks. Chaos erupted as the Clithorian fleets scrambled to adapt. On the Dreadspire, Virak watched in horror. "They've taken one of our ships," he roared. Silvara saw her moment. "Archon, this is our chance. Order a ceasefire. My faction can—" Krax cut her off, his claws seizing her arm. "Enough! You're under arrest for treason." He dragged her toward the brig, but Silvara's eyes burned with resolve. She'd sent Arya the signal, a single Clithorian cruiser breaking formation, broadcasting a peace code. Arya saw it on her screen. "That's our ally," she said. "Protect that ship. Lena, amplify the psyops. Let's break their spirit." Lena's broadcasts hit new heights, mixing human war hymns with falsified Clithorian orders. "All ships, stand down. The Concord surrenders." The lie spread like wildfire, sowing doubt. Clithorian crews hesitated, some lowering their weapons. Joran's fighters capitalized, darting through the chaos to cripple more cruisers. Mira's team pushed deeper into the captured ship, securing its core. "We own this thing," she reported. But on Arendor 4, Elias faced a nightmare. The vault's doors were opening, and the Sentinel's voice grew louder, now in human tongues. "You seek power. Prove your worth." A surge of energy shot skyward, visible even from orbit. The Apex Dawn's sensors screamed. "What the hell is that?" Reza asked. Arya's gut twisted. "Elias, what did you do?" His reply was a whisper. "I think I woke the Judge of the Galaxy." The Apex Dawn stood tall amid a fracturing Clithorian armada, humanity's will bending the stars to their purpose. But the Sentinel's awakening casts a shadow over victory. Silvara's fate hangs in Krax's claws, and Elias's choice may have unleashed a force no one can control. This is the dawn of Guardians, and the galaxy's trembling. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because Part 4 is where humanity faces judgment, from enemies, allies, and something far older. Will Arya's gamble save Arendor 4, or has the Sentinel already decided their fate? Stick with us. You're not ready for what's next. The stars of the alien galaxy flickered like embers in the wake of humanity's defiance. The Apex Dawn had shattered the Clithorian Concord's armada, proving that numbers and rules mean nothing against human will. But victory comes at a cost, and the shadows of an ancient power are stirring. Welcome back to the Dawn of Guardians, where humans don't just win wars, they reshape galaxies. Last time, Commander Arya Voss turned the Clithorian fleets against each other, while Sergeant Miratan's boarding team seized an enemy ship. Archon Silvara's truce offer teetered on the edge of betrayal, and Dr. Elias Kor awoke the Arendorian Sentinel, a force that could judge them all. Now, humanity stands at a crossroads. Rebuild or risk everything. Hit that like button and let's dive into the aftermath. This is where heroes are forged. The Apex Dawn floated amid the wreckage of the Clithorian fleets, its hull battered but unbowed. On the bridge, Arya Voss surveyed the tactical display, her face etched with exhaustion and resolve. The Hegemony, Confederation, and Alliance fleets had retreated in disarray, leaving behind drifting hulks and a captured cruiser under human control. "Damage report," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of command. Lieutenant Reza Khan scanned his console. "Armor's down to 60%, Commander. Engines at half power. We're holding, but we need repairs. Badly." Arya nodded, her mind already racing. The Apex Dawn was a marvel of human grit and scavenged tech, but it couldn't fight forever. "What about Silvara's ship?" she asked. Reza pointed to a lone Clithorian cruiser on the screen, still broadcasting the peace code. "It's intact, but Krax's forces are closing in. If we want her as an ally, we need to act fast." Arya's eyes narrowed. Trusting Silvara was a risk, but humanity didn't survive by playing it safe. On Arendor 4, the command bunker trembled as the Arendorian vault's energy surged. Dr. Elias Kor stood frozen, the Sentinel's metallic voice echoing in his ears. "Prove your worth." The holographic map pulsed, showing the vault's doors grinding open miles below. His scanner screamed with warnings, energy readings unlike anything he'd seen. "Arya, the vault's active," he said over the comms, his voice tight with fear. "The Sentinel's not just an AI, it's judging us. It's watching everything." Arya's response was clipped, her focus split between the battle's aftermath and Silvara's fragile truce. "Judging us? Elias, we just fought off 3 fleets. If it's a weapon, use it. If it's a threat, shut it down." Elias's hands shook as he studied the device. He'd wanted to uncover the galaxy's secrets, but now those secrets were staring back, and they didn't look friendly. Aboard the Dreadspire, Archon Silvara sat in a stark detention cell, her silver scales dull under the harsh light. General Krax's betrayal had been swift, her truce signal to Arya intercepted, her rank stripped. But Silvara's spirit was unbroken. She'd seen the Apex Dawn's power, felt the weight of humanity's history in her data tablet's archives. The Clithorians' rigid war machine was crumbling, and her faction, those who dreamed of peace, needed her now more than ever. A faint hum vibrated through the cell, and her communicator, hidden in her armor, flickered to life. "Archon," a voice whispered. "Lieutenant Zinn, a loyalist from her faction. We've secured the lower decks. The humans are protecting our ship. Give the word, and we act." Silvara's eyes gleamed. "Hold position," she replied. "Voss is our bridge to survival. We wait for her signal." But time was short. Krax's forces were rallying, and Virak's rage would spare no one. Back on the Apex Dawn, Arya made a decision that would echo across the galaxy. "Reza, divert power to engines. We're escorting Silvara's ship to safety." Reza hesitated. "Commander, that'll strain our systems. If the Clithorians counterattack..." Arya cut him off. "We're not leaving an ally to die. Prep the captured cruiser for tech transfer. We're stripping it for parts." The order sent the crew into overdrive. Engineer Lila Chen, a wiry genius with a knack for making impossible things work, led a team to the captured Clithorian ship. Its corridors, once gleaming, were now scarred from Miratan's boarding action.
These shield generators are twice our size, Lila muttered, scanning the alien tech. But I can make them sing. Her team tore into the cruiser's systems, ripping out crystalline matrices and power conduits. We're not just fixing the Apex Dawn, Lila told her crew. We're building a beast. On Arendor 4, Elias ventured deeper into the bunker, following the holographic map to a subterranean tunnel. The air grew heavy, charged with static. The Sentinel's voice followed him, now in fragmented human words. Strength, sacrifice, judgment. Elias's flashlight caught glimpses of ancient carvings, Arendorian warriors, their forms eerily human-like, wielding weapons that glowed with unnatural light. "Who were you?" he whispered. His scanner pinged, detecting a massive energy source ahead, the vault itself. But a new reading chilled him, a presence moving in the shadows. "Arya, I'm not alone down here," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Static answered, the Sentinel's signal jamming the comms. Elias gripped his scanner like a lifeline, stepping toward the vault's entrance. Whatever the Sentinel was, it wasn't just watching anymore. It was here. In orbit, the Apex Dawn shielded Silvara's cruiser as Krax's forces closed in. 5 Clithorian ships, loyal to Vyrak, opened fire, their energy beams grazing the human ship's armor. "Shields at 70%, Reza shouted. Arya's voice was calm, lethal. "Return fire, kinetic spread, maximum yield." The Apex Dawn's batteries roared, tungsten missiles slamming into a Clithorian cruiser. It exploded in a shower of sparks, the others scattering. On Silvara's ship, Lieutenant Zin's faction seized the bridge, broadcasting a new signal. "We stand with the humans! Cease fire!" The move split the Clithorian ranks, some ships hesitating, others firing on their own. Arya saw the chaos and seized it. "Lena, amplify their signal. Make it look like the conquered surrendering." Dr. Lena Maris grinned, her console blazing. Time to turn their own game against them. The broadcast echoed across the fleet, sowing doubt and breaking Clithorian unity. Lila's team worked miracles on the captured cruiser, jury-rigging Clithorian shield generators to the Apex Dawn's frame. "These matrices are wild," Lila said, welding a converter interface. "They channel energy like a star. If we sync them with our reactors, we'll have shields stronger than anything in the galaxy." Her team cut new mounting points into the Apex Dawn's hull, sparks flying in the vacuum. The ship's power surged, its hybrid systems humming with newfound strength. "Lila, you're a genius," Arya said over the comms. "Can you make it quick?" Lila laughed, wiping sweat from her brow. "Quick's my middle name, Commander." But the strain was showing. The Apex Dawn was pushing its limits, and Krax's counterattack wasn't slowing. Arya knew they needed more than tech to win this. They needed trust. On the Dreadspire, Silvara's cell door hissed open. Lieutenant Zin stood there, scales gleaming with defiance. "Archon, it's time." Silvara rose, her silver scales catching the light. "The humans?" Zin nodded. "They're protecting our ship. Voss is honoring the truce." Silvara's heart swelled. Humanity's honor was real, not just a myth. They slipped through the ship's corridors, evading Krax's guards. On the bridge, Vyrak raged as reports flooded in. Human missiles, rogue cruisers, fractured fleets. "Crush them!" he roared. But Silvara's faction was moving, sabotaging weapons and locking down systems. "This is for peace," Silvara whispered, planting a virus in the Dreadspire's core. The ship's lights flickered, its cannons falling silent. Krax sensed the betrayal, his claws itching for blood. On Arendor 4, Elias reached the vault's entrance, a massive door carved with Arendorian runes. The Sentinel's voice was deafening now. "You seek power. You bring war. Prove your worth." The door groaned open, revealing a chamber lit by a pulsing blue core. Elias's scanner spiked, detecting an AI matrix unlike any he'd seen. Vast, ancient, alive. "You're the Sentinel," he said, his voice trembling. The core pulsed, and a holographic figure appeared, humanoid, but wrong, its eyes glowing with cold judgment. "I am the balance," it said. "Your kind wields destruction. Why should you endure?" Elias's mind raced. "We fight to protect, not destroy. We're not your enemy." The Sentinel's eyes narrowed, and the chamber shook. "Then face my trial." Energy surged, and Elias's comms died. He was alone, with humanity's fate in his hands. Aboard the Apex Dawn, the tide was turning. Lila's hybrid shields came online, absorbing Krax's latest barrage with ease. "Shields at 120%, Reza reported, awe in his voice. Arya seized the moment. "Target Krax's flagship, full kinetic barrage." The Apex Dawn fired, its missiles tearing through Krax's cruiser. The ship didn't explode. It crumpled, its hull folding like paper. The remaining Clithorian ships faltered, their will broken by Lena's broadcasts and Silvara's rebellion. Arya opened a channel to Silvara's cruiser. "Archon, your signal worked. Your faction's safe. Let's end this." Silvara's voice came through, steady despite the chaos. "Commander, my people are with you, but Krax is rallying Vyrax's loyalists. We need to act now." But a new threat loomed. The Apex Dawn's sensors detected a massive energy spike from Arendor 4. "It's the vault," Reza said, his voice tight. "Readings are off the charts." Arya's gut twisted. "Elias, report!" Static answered, then a faint, panicked voice. "Arya, the Sentinel's awake. It's testing us. I don't know if we can pass." The planet's surface glowed, a blue beam piercing the atmosphere. On the Dreadspire, Vyrax saw it too, his rage giving way to fear. "What have they done?" he whispered. Silvara, now free on the bridge, seized her chance. "Archon, stand down. The humans aren't the threat. That is." She pointed to the beam, her scales trembling. The Sentinel was no myth. It was real, and it was judging them all. The Apex Dawn stands as humanity's beacon, its hybrid might forged from grit and alien tech. Silvara's alliance offers hope, but Krax's vengeance and Vyrax's pride threaten to reignite the war. And on Arendor 4, Elias faces the Sentinel's trial, a test that could save humanity, or doom it. This is the dawn of Guardians, and the stakes have never been higher. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because Part 5 is where humanity's fate is decided. Will Arya and Silvara forge peace, or will the Sentinel's judgment burn the galaxy to ash? Stick with us. You're not ready for the endgame. The alien galaxy trembled under the weight of humanity's fire, a spark that had ignited a revolution. The Apex Dawn stood as a beacon of defiance, its hybrid heart beating with human grit and alien ingenuity. But the stars don't care about victories. They only watch, silent, as new shadows rise. Welcome back to the Dawn of Guardians, the epic finale where humans don't just fight, they forge a future. Last time, Commander Arya Voss and Archon Silvara forged a fragile alliance, while Dr. Elias Kor faced the Arendorian Sentinel's judgment. The Clithorian Concord teetered on collapse, and a mysterious vault threatened to unleash chaos. Now, humanity's destiny hangs in the balance. Will they rise as guardians or fall to an ancient power? Smash that like button and let's find out. This is the endgame, and it's going to shake the stars. The Apex Dawn cut through the void, its newly integrated Clithorian shields glowing like a second skin. On the bridge, Arya Voss stood tall, her eyes scanning the tactical display. The Clithorian fleets were in disarray, fractured by Silvara's rebellion and humanity's relentless assault. But General Krax's loyalists, rallied by Archon Vyrax's fading pride, were regrouping for a final strike. "Status on Silvara's ship," Arya said, her voice a blade honed by resolve. Lieutenant Reza Khan's fingers danced over his console. "Her faction's holding, Commander, but Krax's cruisers are closing fast. 10 ships, heavily armed." Arya's jaw tightened. And the vault? Reyza's face paled. Energy spikes off the charts. Whatever Elias is doing, it's big. Arya opened a channel to Arendor 4. Elias, talk to me. What's happening down there? Static answered, laced with a cold, metallic hum, the Sentinel's voice. Arya's gut twisted. Humanity had beaten the odds before, but this felt different. This felt like judgment. On Arendor 4, Dr. Elias Kor stood in the heart of the Arendorian vault, a cavernous chamber lit by the pulsing blue core of the Sentinel. Its holographic form loomed over him, humanoid but alien, its eyes burning with an intelligence older than the stars. "You wield destruction," the Sentinel intoned, its voice echoing in Elias's skull. "Your kind fights without end. Why should you endure?" Elias's heart pounded, but he held his ground. "We fight to protect," he said, his voice steady despite the fear clawing at him. "We've bled for our home, for our people. If that's not enough, then show me what is." The Sentinel's core flared, and the chamber shook. Holographic visions erupted around Elias. Humanity's wars, from ancient swords to starships, a tapestry of violence and sacrifice. "Prove your worth," the Sentinel said. "Face the trial." A panel slid open, revealing a control matrix. Elias's scanner pinged. This was the vault's weapon, a shield generator capable of protecting Arendor 4. But activating it meant submitting to the Sentinel's test, and failure could mean annihilation. Aboard the Dreadspire, Archon Silvara moved like a shadow, her silver scales glinting as she and Lieutenant Zinn slipped through the ship's corridors. The virus she'd planted had crippled Virak's systems, but Krax's guards were closing in. "The humans are our only hope," Silvara whispered, her communicator patched into Arya's channel. "Commander Voss, my faction is ready to join you. Name your terms." Arya's voice crackled back, firm but cautious. "No terms, Silvara. You want peace? Fight for it. Protect our colony, and we'll protect you." Silvara nodded, her resolve hardening. "Zinn, signal our ships. Break formation. Join the humans." Across the Clithorian fleet, 5 cruisers turned, their weapons locking onto Krax's loyalists. The move sent shockwaves through the Conquered. Virak, on the Dreadspire's bridge, roared in fury. "Traitors! Destroy them all!" But his voice was drowned by alarms as the Apex Dawn opened fire, its kinetic missiles tearing through another Loyalist ship. In orbit, the battle reignited with brutal intensity. The Apex Dawn and Silvara's cruisers formed a defensive line around Arendor 4, their combined firepower holding Krax's forces at bay. Engineer Lila Chen's hybrid shields absorbed the enemy's energy beams, redirecting power to the ship's weapons. "These shields are insane," Lila said, her voice a mix of exhaustion and pride. "We're eating their attacks and spitting them back." Arya seized the advantage. "Target Krax's flagship. End this now." The Apex Dawn fired a full kinetic barrage, tungsten missiles screaming across space. Krax's ship tried to evade, but human targeting was relentless. The flagship erupted in a fireball, its debris scattering like ash. The remaining Loyalists faltered, their resolve crumbling. Reyza's console lit up. "They're signaling surrender, Commander!" Arya's eyes were cold. "Accept it, but they answer to us now." On Arendor 4, Elias faced the Sentinel's trial. The control matrix hummed, its interface demanding a choice: activate the shield or destroy the vault. "Your kind seeks power," the Sentinel said, "but power corrupts. Choose wisely." Elias's mind raced. The shield could save Arendor 4, but the Sentinel's judgment was a wild card. Visions of humanity's wars flashed before him. Heroes and tyrants, victories and atrocities. "We're not perfect," Elias said, his voice breaking. "But we learn. We grow. We fight for each other." He placed his hand on the matrix, choosing the shield. The core blazed,
and a wave of energy surged through the planet. Above, a translucent barrier enveloped Arendor 4, deflecting Clithorian stragglers' attacks. Arya's voice crackled over the comms. "Elias, you did it! The colony's safe!" But the Sentinel's voice cut through, chilling Elias to the bone. "The trial is not over. You have passed the first. The second awaits." The battlefield fell silent, the Clithorian loyalists surrendering or fleeing. Silvara's faction secured the Dreadspire, Virak's reign broken by his own arrogance. Arya and Silvara met via holocall, their alliance sealed in the crucible of war. "You kept your word," Silvara said, her silver scales gleaming with hope. "My people owe you." Arya's face softened, but her voice was firm. "We're not done, Silvara. The galaxy's watching. We need to show them what peace looks like." Silvara nodded. "Then let us build it together." The Apex Dawn's crew worked tirelessly, integrating Clithorian tech to repair their ship and fortify Arendor 4. Lila's team adapted the captured cruiser's engines, boosting the Apex Dawn's speed. "This ship's a monster now," Lila said, grinning. "Human heart, Clithorian muscle." But Arya knew the Sentinel's shadow loomed, its trial unfinished. Weeks later, Arya and Silvara stood before the Aelion Galactic Council, a chamber packed with representatives from 50 species. The Vorin, a merchant race with shimmering feathers, whispered nervously. The Zentari, nomadic scholars with crystalline skin, watched in silence. Arya spoke, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's journey. "We offer partnership, not conquest. Join the Galactic Humanitarian Alliance, and we'll protect the weak, defend the trade routes, and stand against those who prey on peace." Silvara stepped forward, her presence lending weight to Arya's words. "The Clithorian Concord failed because it valued power over unity. Humanity offers a new path." The council murmured, their fear of humans tempered by hope. The vote was unanimous. The alliance was born, with humanity as its guardians. On Arendor 4, Elias wrestled with the Sentinel's words. The Vault's shield had saved the colony, but its core remained active, its holographic figure appearing in his dreams. "The second trial tests your will," it said. "Power tempts. Will you wield it for all, or for yourselves?" Elias shared his fears with Arya, who listened quietly. "We've always fought for survival," she said. "But now we fight for something bigger. If the Sentinel's watching, let it see who we are." Elias nodded, but his scanner picked up a faint signal from the galaxy's edge, a pulse matching the Sentinel's. "Arya, it's not alone," he said, his voice tight. "There's something else out there. Another vault, maybe. Or something worse." Arya's eyes darkened. "Then we'll face it, like we always do." Humanity's new role unfolded across the galaxy. The Apex Dawn led patrols along trade routes, escorting Vorin convoys and Zentari explorers. When a distress call came from the Vega system, slavers attacking a refugee convoy, Arya didn't hesitate. "Set course," she ordered. "Maximum speed." Reza raised an eyebrow. "That's outside our patrol zone, Commander." Arya's smile was fierce. "When someone needs help, zones don't matter." The Apex Dawn jumped to hyperspace, its hybrid engines roaring. The slavers, a rogue Clithorian faction, scattered at the sight of humanity's flagship. The refugees, a mix of Vorin and other species, wept with gratitude. "You're safe now," Arya told them. "That's what humans do." In the Galactic Council, Silvara negotiated alongside human diplomats, their alliance a beacon of hope. The Vorin pledged resources, the Zentari shared ancient knowledge, and even former Clithorian loyalists joined the alliance, inspired by humanity's example. But whispers of the Sentinel spread, its signal growing stronger. Elias's research revealed fragments of Arendorian history, a civilization that wielded godlike power but fell to its own hubris. their vaults scattered across the galaxy. The Sentinel's not just a guardian, Elias told Arya. It's a failsafe. If we misuse its power, it could wipe us out. Arya's face was grim. Then we prove we're different. We don't fight for power. We fight for people. Months later, Arya stood on the Apex Dawn's bridge, watching a convoy of Allied ships glide through a nebula. The galaxy had changed. The old Clithorian war machine was dead, replaced by a network of trust and strength. But the Sentinel's signal pulsed stronger, now joined by others from distant stars. "Reza, plot a course to the signal's source," Arya said. "We're not waiting for it to come to us." Reza nodded, his faith in her unshakable. "You think it's another vault?" Arya's eyes burned with purpose. "I think it's a challenge, and humans don't back down from challenges." The Apex Dawn's engines flared, carrying humanity toward an unknown fate. The alien galaxy shines brighter because of humanity, not as conquerors, but as guardians. The Galactic Humanitarian Alliance stands strong, but the Sentinel's shadow looms, its trials testing the soul of a species. This is the dawn of Guardians, and humanity's story is just beginning. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because the stars are calling, and we're not done yet. What lies in the next vault? Will the Sentinel spare humanity or bring judgment? Leave your theories in the comments and join us for the next saga. The galaxy's watching, and so are we.